All right, so today is a little bit of a different day. Today is the day I'm going to show you guys what I do in the morning as far as the physical bits and pieces. I've already done the meditation, I've already done my writing, I've already had my coffee and my electrolyte salted water. It's been a couple of hours since I've done that because I was waiting for the weather to clear up so I could make this video for you guys in the sunlight. Grounding didn't happen, so I'm essentially grounding as we speak now. And the physical bits and pieces I didn't do. The only thing I did this morning physically is, which I normally do sometimes, is just wake up out of bed. If I'm feeling like, I think I've spoken to you guys about this before, if I wake up on a 1.5 hour cycle, I feel fresh. So anything after an hour and a half, 3, 4.5, goes on 5, 7.5, 9. If I wake up anything outside of say 10-15 minutes of those exact spots, those exact times, I feel a little bit groggy. It takes me a little while to wake up. I believe that's because of the cycles we have in sleeps are normally in a 1.5 hour cycles. So if you wake up at the right time when your body's gone out of deep sleep and back into light sleep and whatever it may be, and you wake up at the right time, then those things help out. So there's that. And essentially, I'll pop out of bed on one of those cycles where I feel a bit right and just pump out like as many push-ups as I can, which is around about 50-ish, 50, 60 or something. Just to wake myself up. My brain goes a little bit boop, boop, and then my body kind of wakes up and then I get out of bed, which means I can't lay in bed because I have to get out of bed to make the push-up. So that's generally what I'll do in the mornings if I wake up on an off sleep cycle. Otherwise, I will just slowly wake up, sort of 3, 4, 5 minutes, start doing some breath work there, down my water, which sits next to my bed. I prepare the night before, and then that gets me off and started. And then I'll go outside and ground and do what I'm about to show you guys now. I'm making this video for a buddy of mine in Australia who's asked a little bit of what to do for stretching, as well as exercises for his knees, which are probably in as bad a shape as if not worse than mine. So this goes out to the guys out there who have struggling sort of knees. I have no ACLs or PCLs in both of my knees, so I struggle a lot with that stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't have something that I can do. I've taken a little bit of time to figure out what it is that I can do, and I kind of just stick with that. And what I'm about to show you here is one of those things. I will have my back to you a few times when I'm doing stuff because I use the wall, so apologies for that, but I will be still talking, so hopefully we'll be able to still put the point across that I'm trying to make. So the first thing I'll do when I get out is the calf stretch, calf raise, and anterior tibialis, or the shin muscle combination. So this one for me works pretty simply. There are 3 exercises. The first one you repeat again in the middle of the other 2. So it's essentially an anterior tibialis, a calf, an anterior tibialis again, and then another version of the same calf. So pretty simple stuff. I might fast forward for you guys some of the stuff if it's pretty simple and I'm not talking too much, but eventually you will get to the point where you can get your feet out a little further by just essentially just lifting. I'll do it over here just in case you can't see. So you'll get your feet a little further. It's a little easier the further and closer away you are, so you can figure that out yourself. What works best, this is roughly what works best for me. I keep my back relatively straight, but not against the wall. I bow forward slightly, and then I just keep my hands here or here or here, just to sort of let myself know that I'm not falling forward or crunching over, and just lifting the toes up as far as you can. I'm getting about 25 reps in on this, keeping my knees locked out straight. One locks out better than the other, so you may not see it, this one maybe not locked out all the way. That's as locked out as it gets for me. It is a little bit swollen today from a little bit extra exercise over the last couple of days. Decided to get back and start playing a little bit of tennis. And by playing tennis, I mean hitting balls from a ball machine at targets on the other side of the net. Not really running. The running is what would kill my knees, so I'm not counting. But I'm on about 25, so let's say there's 25 there. I'll then switch over and do exactly the same number, 25, but facing the other way. This time trying to get as big of a stretch I can on the calf So I'm trying to range the feet position based on how much flexibility I have in the calf. So I'll go with roughly that. My left is tighter than my right, as I explained with that that left knee. It's a little tighter on that left leg, so the left calf feels a little tighter. So I'm just going with that, getting a stretch at the bottom, and then really trying to rise up as high as I can, making sure the heels touch the ground each time, so I get that tiny little stretch at the bottom. Again, not really counting, probably should be, but thinking about what I'm going to say next. Then I would come back and do the same exercise again as the first one and do those tibialis raises. Now, I'm rushing these guys for you to see what it is that I do. I would typically sort of walk around, do a bit of grounding between each little set of 25, because as much as it's not necessarily strong, there's not as much strength needed, what you'll find is the fatigue of the higher repetitions kind of kicks in a little bit, and the blood flow from having such high repetitions kicks in. So you get a little bit of blood pumping into that area, and then you'll feel like you can't really get the full lift. So I'm kind of used to it. I've been doing this for a couple of years. But as you're beginning and first starting, it could be something that you notice. I don't know how many that is either. My apologies for the numbers, it's terrible. And then the other one is the bent knee. So the first one was a straight leg, I should say, or straight knee, straight leg, calf raise. This one is a bent knee, calf raise. There are two parts to the calf muscle, the soleus, which is kind of like the Achilles tendon, and it goes a bit deeper into the muscle tissue. And then the gastroc, or the gastrocnemius, which is the ball of muscle that we see as the calf muscle that sits sort of on top of the soleus and above. So one works where the knee is bent, one works when the knee is straight. Sometimes they can both work at the same time, but for the most part, a lot of us do calf work with straight legs and then hurt our calves when we do bent leg stuff, or vice versa, because we don't train both at the same time. So this does both, and that's basically it. So those are the exercises I'll do in the warm-ups. As far as warming up my knees, my joints. Then there's a couple of actual exercises that I would do. But before that, I'd walk around, get a little bit of grounding, drink a little bit more water, take my time, making sure my legs recover a little bit so I can feel what you would essentially call a pump in my calves and shin muscles as we speak. So take your time with that, let that sort of subside and calm down a little bit before you go ahead and go into the next little part. The next little part I will do now, I will typically stretch first, so I'll do that for you now. The stretch I do is a very simple one. It takes care of almost every little part that I need in one stretch. I don't like stretching, like it's not enjoyable. I've tried it in like long periods of time, every single day for X reason, and I found that for me personally it didn't really work. I got a little bit better at the stretching, but my body itself needs to be tight because it protects itself from all the little niggles and injuries that I guess I have from the years of training and gym and workout and sport and jumping and basketball, volleyball, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of need those tightnesses to keep me in sort of stable. So the stretching helps a little bit, but it doesn't make me more pliable. It doesn't actually take anything away. If anything, it helps maybe with some little nagging pains that might have come in. So as I did a lot of exercise in the day before yesterday and yesterday, then okay, cool, then I'll do this stuff to try to bring myself back. But I'm not trying to get too flexible. I'm not saying that's not what you should be doing. That's not for you. That's what I'm doing. That's what's for me. So this exercise is pretty simple. It's a stretch. What I'm looking to do here is essentially bow down as far as I can. Then once I reach that sort of spot there, that little sort of soft spot before my back arches, keeping my back straight, then that's the angle I'll hold the hips, and then I'll bend the knees more and allow myself to then bow and bend the spine. Okay, so there's two parts to it. Relatively soft knees, or not locked out straight, but slightly soft knees. How far can you bend with good form and your technique of your spine still being aligned? Then from there, bend the knees more, then allow yourself to go down further. I would then grab the back of my calves and then bow my head down and straighten one leg. Bring it back and then straighten the other leg. And bring it back. Straighten the leg. Bring it back. Straighten the leg. Bring it back. I'm not alternating and doing one while the other one is doing anything. I'm doing out and back, out and back, out and back, out and back. Then I'm slowly going to let myself stretch. I'm going a little faster, but I'm allowing myself to stretch as I bring my arms down further. I'm not really pulling myself down, but I'm holding myself there, sort of stable and strong. Then as you allow yourself to be able to reach further and further, you can end up underneath your feet. And these, I'm not going to do a full set for you. I'm doing about 36 each leg, so equals 72 if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't ask me the number. I don't know why that is. I learned this from a coach I had before, Ben, who helped me out with all this kind of stuff. He's the next Charles Poliquin disciple and follows training philosophies from the Poliquin strength camp stuff. And it works a lot better for me than most others. So that's the stretch. That's the one stretch, Nate, that I do recommend you do. And I'll do that in between those little warm-up movements we did before on the wall. Then I'll do this, and then I'll do this next two little exercises. These two little exercises are simple, very simple and easy, and they help the knees, and that's it. They're not really there to make you any stronger. You're definitely not going to get any bigger leg muscles or anything from it, so don't try and find that in this exercise. I'll use the wall. You can use anything. I'll use the wall. All I'm looking to do is essentially just bend this knee and reach forward as far as I can with my other foot, keeping the leg straight. It's just the bowing that's allowing my leg to go forward and my chest to go back. Okay, what this is essentially doing, I am putting weight on here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm shaking a little bit. My knee shakes a little bit when I do this. I can see in the reflection of the window my knee, and it's tracking relatively straight. Some people's knees will track differently. Be aware of that. Try and track it straight. You're trying to put a little pressure and tension through the patella tendon. You'll feel it in the front of the quad too, the quadriceps. Connect one of them, quad, there's 4. One of them connects through, becomes the patella tendon. And that's the one we're kind of trying to hit. Then I'll go across, do the other side. I'll find this little hole here, it's pretty good. Okay, here. Try to keep my chest up, just bowing forward. This one you can see my knee doesn't track quite as straight, so I'll just keep an eye on that. This is the weaker one, because it does all the stabilizing. The bad one, so it's very fatigued almost at all times, and I do find myself leaning on this side more when I'm standing around. This one fatigues out from being a little bit pain, a little bit of pain, in a little bit of pain. So this one sort of takes the load longer, gets fatigued. So these are the two exercises. Well, it's the one exercise, but these are two sides of this exercise. All right, and now the other one is a little bit more advanced. I don't do this one every day. I won't do too many rounds of it now because my knees are a little bit sore, as I said a little earlier, but this exercise is contradicting what most of us have heard about not letting our knee go past our toe. Now, not allowing the knee to go past the toe, if you have the right range of movement at the ankle and the hip, is actually a terrible idea. You want the body to be able to do whatever you want, but the ankle mobility is one of the things that restricts us. So without the ankle mobility, you're not really able to get the knee past the toe anyway. So people kind of got this, oh, it doesn't really go past there. It should be able to go past there, but the ankle will restrict it. So working on ankle mobility, a bit of flexibility through the Achilles tendons and calves with that first round of exercises will allow this exercise to be a little bit more impacted, greater impact. And what you're trying to do, you can start by elevating the platform on which you're going to go and step on. So put something there and step onto it, like a small box or something. I'll just do it for example's sake here. I'm trying to step back a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see. When I step forward, I'm trying to put my knee as far forward as I can and allowing my back knee to hit the floor, but also my front knee to go as far forward as I can. I'm feeling a bit of the stretch through there. You're not really going to hear, but my knee's doing a whole bunch of snap, crackle, and pop, which doesn't sound good. But this one I'll do sets of 25. Well, I'll do a full total count of 25. I do it in 5 sets of 5. So I've just done 5 on that right. Now I'm going to do 5 on the left. I'm holding the wall just for stability, because the last thing I need is body to stabilize whilst it's trying to go and do all this at the same time. I'm trying to keep my chest up a little bit. I don't mind if you bow a little bit forward, but just, you know, don't round out too much. I think that's about 4. Right, now I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm still terrible at this. It takes time, a lot of time, a lot of repetition. It's not super hard. After I've done 5 on the left, I'll do 5 on the right. Just keep going around 10 times. So it's 5 each side, 25 each rep, each leg. That's enough for me. That's my little warm-up routine. Once I've done that, I'll pop inside, have a coffee, read a book, a chapter, a few pages, whatever. And then depending on what I've got on for the day is when I might pop out some burpees. So with the burpees, it's usually a minimum of 50. I can go upwards of about 200 sometimes, spread through the day, not in one session. I don't need that many. They're hard for me, extremely hard for me. I don't have the best technique. I'm quite heavy, quite tall, length, blah, 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 whatever. It gasses me out. So I'll do them because I like the challenge, but I'm not very good at them, just so you guys know. But I still do them because, shit, if I suck at it, I want to get a little better. There's nothing you can do in this world that if you don't practice enough, you can become amazing at. Not necessarily always the greatest in the world at it, but you can definitely become a lot better at absolutely anything, as long as you put the time and effort into rehearsing it, breaking it down, perfecting it, and then practicing that. So, it sounds silly, but I'm trying to perfect my art, the art of burpees. Never got into them. They let me down from making a TV show once, years and years ago. I'd never really done them, although I should have. So yeah, ever since then, it's been like, damn it, they're like my downfall. So I got back into them thanks to a buddy, Adam, who really got into them and sort of motivated me to do some. So got back into them with him and sort of just kept them around for a while since then. Been a couple of years, but on and off. They've been around for a couple of years. But anyway, that's the video. Nate, that's for you, bro. I hope this helps out with a little morning routine stuff. I'm not going to record and videotape myself doing meditation and breath work and all this stuff. You can Google and research that yourself, because there's so many different variations and versions that it really is going to come down to what it is you're trying to get out of those. I do them, I practice them, but they're my own versions of ones that I've been taught and have done multiple times with professionals. So I suggest apps to help you coach, or in-person training with a coach which will lead you down the right direction of it. And once you have that, you can go away and do it yourself. Okay, that's meditation and breath work, not combined, but separately. Otherwise, eat good, clean food, stay addicted to your exercises, and I'll see you guys on the next video.